Hi guys, it's Dr. T here, also known as Dr. Pelvic Floor. Welcome back to another video. The goal of my channel is to discover, listen to, and promote stories from overlooked voices, including my own, and not to mention a little education as well. Hi everyone, Dr. Pelvic Floor here. So this is what we've been waiting for. We've actually been waiting to review the pelvic floor model, and I have it right here. So what I plan to do is actually take you step by step through these anatomical structures and actually through this actual pelvis. And I think we should just get started and get right into it. So here you can see the pelvic model with all the pelvic organs within it. This is specifically a female pelvic model. If you want me to do a male pelvic model in the future, I certainly can. As a urogynecologist, we operate on and take care of women exclusively. However, we need to know anatomy. So now let's talk about the external structures. Here we can see the prepuce of the clitoris. And right here is the clitoris. It is an entire organ and a very important structure, but that is for another video. These muscles here are called the ischiocavernosus muscles. And this bright blue area here is called the bulb of vestibule. If you take a look at this pink area, the small area here, a little bit of a circle, it is called the greater vestibular gland, also known as the Bartholin's gland. Next, on either side, is a bulbospongiosus muscle. Now, I know you don't see it on this side, but it's only because on this side, the bulbospongiosus muscle has been removed in order to see these other underlying structures. Take a look here. This is the ischial tuberosity. The ischial tuberosity is an important structure. That's a different view of the ischial tuberosity. These are the superficial transverse perineal muscles. There's also deep transverse perineal muscles. This is the external anal sphincter. We cannot see the internal anal sphincter from here. And again, in a future video, we'll talk about the specific components of the pelvic floor, and they'll have their own video dedicated to them. The bulbospongiosus muscle, the superficial and deep transverse perineal muscles, as well as the external anal sphincter, make up the muscles of the perineal body. These muscles here are the Levator Ani muscles. The Levator Ani muscles are actually made up of 3 muscles. Here it looks like they're all together, but they're actually made up of 3 muscles. These Levator Ani muscles are represented here. These large holes here are the obturator foramen, and these muscles here are the obturator internus muscles. As I'm talking about these muscles, I want you to know, interestingly, there is an actual physical way to examine these muscles, and that will be for a future video. Remember, behind the pubic bone is tucked the bladder. So let's talk about the Levator Ani muscles. The Levator Ani muscles are important units of the pelvic floor. So now that you know that that is the coccyx bone, and that's the sacrum, and that this is the pubic bone, and this is the pubic symphysis, then we can start really talking about the anatomy of the Levator Ani. So if you think about this, how can you ever remember what the Levator Ani muscles are? Okay, it's actually pretty simple. There are 3 Levator Ani muscles. Levator Ani holds things up. All right. If you take a look at the pubic bone here, you can see that there's muscle that wraps around, extends over to the coccyx bone, muscle that wraps around even below the rectal area. So if we were going to name these, what would we name this? Pubococcygeus muscle, and how it wraps around. Pubococcygeus muscle. We've got puborectalis muscle. Puborectalis muscle, and it wraps around as well. And then laterally, we've got iliococcygeal muscle. It's not that well represented in this model, but it is one of those lateral muscles, iliococcygeus muscle. And those are the three muscles of the levator ani. Again, we'll have another video in the future purely dedicated to the levator ani muscles. And lo and behold, we can see some of the ligaments here and also some of the connective tissue here, but also there's that coccyx bone that inserts into the sacrum. The importance of showing you this is to understand, though you can't see them here because we just removed them, that muscles surround the organs that are located inside the pelvis. Everything is interconnected, and it's important to not forget the function of the pelvic floor and how, when it's in dysfunction, how it can make us feel. This is the external genitalia. This is the prepuce of the clitoris. These are the ischiocavernosus muscles. That's the clitoris. This is the bulb of vestibule. These are the labia minora. This is the bulbospongiosus muscle. That is the urethral opening, the urethral meatus, and that's the vaginal opening. Here we can see the external anal sphincter and the anal opening. These are the transverse perineal muscles. These are the internal pelvic floor muscles. There's the urethra. There's the vagina. And there's the anus. That's the pubic bone. That's the sacrum. Pubo-rectalis muscle. Iliococcygeus muscle. Iliococcygeus muscle. Pubo-coccygeus muscle. So that's it, guys. I've given an introduction into the pelvic girdle and the pelvic floor muscles and the pelvic floor structures, including the pelvic floor organs. Now, in future videos, we will talk about each and every single one of these pelvic structures, but I just wanted to give you an overview as to what's in there. Let's start by actually naming some of these things. And I know I've not named everything. However, at least we have an introduction into these pelvic floor structures. I want to thank you for being awesome subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. It looks like my channel is growing every single week, and I'll see you in the next video. Again, this is Dr. Pelvic Floor. See you guys.